Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Gardening Cold Spring Harbor. In today's video, we're going to talk about yet another winter holiday season plant. In today's video, we're going to talk about this beauty over here. And this beauty is called Christmas cactus. In today's video, I'm going to give you 9 easy yet proven Christmas cactus care tips. So for those of you looking for that online gardening channel that offers tips, tricks, easy yet proven gardening advice to take your home gardens to that next level. Don't go anywhere, guys. Stick around with me today. Start with going below this video and clicking the subscribe button. If you are enjoying the content of my gardening videos and want YouTube to send you notifications every single time I upload a new garden video, don't forget to click the bell icon as well. Now let's get gardening. Christmas cacti are sold widely during the winter holiday season. Every single garden center or plant nursery sells Christmas cacti this time of the year between the month of November and January. Christmas cacti come in many beautiful, stunning, gorgeous colors, anywhere from subtle pink to bright pink to magenta, white, or a combination of 2 colors. You can find Christmas cacti sold in almost every single supermarket during this holiday time as well. Whether somebody gifted you a gorgeous Christmas cactus this holiday season, or maybe you went to a garden center or supermarket and purchased one for yourself, and maybe you're not familiar with how to take care of this gorgeous, beautiful plant. If you have any questions or concerns when it comes to growing, blooming, and reblooming Christmas cactus, then today's video is for you. After today's video, you're going to become a pro when it comes to growing, taking care of, and reblooming your Christmas cactus year after year. There's actually lots of discrepancies and confusion when it comes to Christmas cactus. More particularly, many get confused between Thanksgiving cactus, Christmas cactus, holiday cactus, and Easter cactus. In today's video, I'm going to go over the differences between these cacti, but the care for them is relatively the same. So in today's video, since Christmas holiday is just a few short weeks away, we're going to focus mainly on Christmas cactus. So the care of Thanksgiving cactus, Christmas cactus, holiday cactus, Easter cactus is actually quite different than the care of the standard cacti that we are typically used to. So let's dive right into Christmas cactus tip number 1. And that tip is place your Christmas cactus in a bright, indirect sun location. Christmas cactus prefers as much sunlight as possible. However, that sunlight has to be indirect. If you place your Christmas cactus in a direct sunlight location, the direct sunlight can burn and hurt Christmas cactus foliage. So remember, bright, indirect sunlight is tip number 1. Tip number 2. Christmas cactus tip number 2 is make sure that you do not overwater your Christmas cactus. Christmas cactus is actually an epiphyte. So what does that mean? That means that in nature, and Christmas cactus grow in forests in nature, and they originated in Central America. So in nature, they grow on either rocks or trees. Christmas cactus will not tolerate wet roots or wet feet. So when you are watering your Christmas cactus, I always recommend checking your soil for moisture content first. You always want to do a finger check test where you use your index finger and you place it roughly 1 inch below the soil surface to feel for that moisture content. If you feel that the top inch or 2 inches of your soil level are still moist, do not yet water your Christmas cactus. Wait for the soil to dry out prior to rewatering your Christmas cactus. Now, if your Christmas cactus has a saucer or a plate underneath, make sure that you spill out any excess water that might have accumulated in the saucer. You do not want to let your Christmas cactus sit in any excess moisture, because thinking back to where they come from in nature, they naturally attach themselves to either crevices in the trees or holes in the rocks. And in those holes or crevices, water can never accumulate, at least for not that long. It always has a way to spill itself out. So Christmas cactus never in its natural environment sits with wet roots or gets waterlogged. So again, always allow your soil to dry out almost completely prior to rewatering your Christmas cactus once again. Many of you might be asking, so how often should you water your Christmas cactus? In answer to that question will depend on how much lighting is in that area where you're keeping your Christmas cactus. What temperature, air temperature is your Christmas cactus exposed to? Also, what time of the year it is, as well as the humidity level in the room where you keep your Christmas cactus. So I say that during the year, you should be typically watering your Christmas cactus anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks, again, depending on the air temperature, humidity level, light source, and timing of the year. Also, if your room where you're keeping your Christmas cactus is relatively high humidity, you might water your Christmas cactus less frequently versus dry air room. You might have to water your Christmas cactus a bit more frequently. Now, let's move on to tip number 3. So what is that tip number 3, guys? Tip number 3 is make sure that you are planting and growing your Christmas cactus in correct soil or correct potting mix. Christmas cactus or Christmas cacti grow better and bloom better when planted in porous, loose, airy, well-draining soil. When planting or repotting your Christmas cactus, make sure that you plant it in cactus potting mix. Cactus potting mix is sold widely in garden centers. It is sold online, and there are many companies such as Miracle Grow, such as Espoma Organic, that make and sell cactus potting mix. Now, when repotting your Christmas cactus, I recommend that you do so not more frequently than once every 2 to 3 years. Christmas cactus is usually very happy in the container in which it's at. Also, it likes to feel snug in the container in which it's growing. So if you are repotting your Christmas cactus, make sure that you do not choose too large of a container. Make sure that you stick to approximately same size container. Maybe go up 1 container size, and again that you use correct porous, well-draining cactus potting mix. As I just mentioned, Christmas cacti do prefer to be container or pot bound. So you should only repot them once every 2 to 3 years. Now, if you decide that you are ready to repot your Christmas cactus, make sure that you do not repot it during its blooming phase or blooming cycle, because you will disturb that blooming cycle and you will end up with flower bud drop. Now, when can and should you repot your Christmas cactus? You should always wait at least 2 to 3 months after they complete their blooming cycle. So I would say that mid-spring to early summer is definitely the best time to repot your Christmas cactus. Tip number 4 is proper air temperature. Christmas cacti prefer air temperatures just like we do, to be comfortable for them. So they prefer the air temperatures to be between 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit with slightly cooler night temps. So the night temps can range anywhere between 55 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperatures in the room where you're growing your Christmas cactus should never go below 60 degrees Fahrenheit during the day, and they should not go below 55 degrees at night. Christmas cacti are not cold hardy at all whatsoever, guys. If you are keeping your Christmas cacti outdoors, outside during the warmer months, during the warmer seasons, make sure that you bring your Christmas cactus back inside indoors before those freezing temperatures hit. So what is the next care tip? What is tip number 5? And that is proper humidity levels. Christmas cacti love to grow in humid environments. In nature, they grow and thrive in very warm, humid, tropical climates. Again, remember, guys, that they are euphorbias, which have originated from Central America. So say you live in a very warm, humid zone, then that's perfect, guys. Say you live in a zone with very dry climate, dry air. So you basically have little to no humidity at all. What can you do? Tip number 1, you can place a humidifier in the same room where you're growing your Christmas cactus. Say you have no access to a humidifier. Say it's too tedious for you to carry a humidifier around your home. What else can you do? If your Christmas cactus is growing in a container with a saucer or a plate underneath, you can always place pebbles or rocks into that saucer or container. Pour water over those pebbles and let that water slowly evaporate, hence create that humidity. Now, you never want to submerge the bottom of your container into that water directly, because that's going to cause root rot. Again, Christmas cacti do not like to sit in excess water. So just gently place the container on top of those rocks or pebbles. Never fully submerge the bottom end of your container into that water. Another great tip is to place your Christmas cactus in a room with lots of other house plants. Why? Because when you have lots of nearing house plants, all of these house plants start to create their own microclimate, start to adjust to create their own humidity levels. So by placing your Christmas cactus in a room filled with lots of our house plants, they just tend to start to adapt, create their own microorganisms, and kind of create the perfect humidity level that they need for their own growth and their own blooms. So what is that tip number 6? Tip number 6 is fertilization. Don't skip fertilization process, guys. Your Christmas cactus will grow better and bloom better when you're fertilizing. What I like to do is always wait until my Christmas cactus is done with its blooming cycle, and then I fertilize once a month until summer season. You can always purchase a slow release organic fertilizer. I like to use a Spoon Organic Bloom fertilizer. There are also fertilizers specifically formulated for cacti, cactus growth. Now, I always wait till spring. Once I start seeing new leaf growth on my Christmas cactus, that is exactly when I start to fertilize my cactus plant. If you fertilize during their bloom cycle, that will disturb their bloom cycle. It'll either make it much shorter than what you want it to be, or it'll completely stop it, hence causing flower buds and flower bloom drop. So the next tip number 7, when it comes to successfully growing and caring for your Christmas cactus, is putting your Christmas cactus through a dormancy phase in order to have your Christmas cactus set flower buds and bloom for you. I have a video on my garden channel, Gardening Cold Spring Harbor, which I'm going to link up above, where I talk in great deal of how to correctly place your Christmas cactus into its dormancy phase in order for it to successfully rebloom for you year after year. So for those of you who are interested, check out that video as well. It's still available on my gardening channel. Now, in quick, brief notes, you need to place your Christmas cactus for at least 6 to 8 weeks through a dormancy phase. So how do you do that? You expose your Christmas cactus to at least 12 to 15 hours of darkness and temperatures of roughly 50 to 55 degrees for 6 to 8 weeks if you want your Christmas cactus to set flower buds and rebloom for you once again. So when should you place your Christmas cactus through a dormancy phase? Again, sometimes 6 to 8 weeks before you want your Christmas cactus to bloom for you. So that's somewhere mid-September to beginning of October. So say you don't have a cooler location in your home. What else can you do? All you have to do is to extend that darkness time. So instead of 12 to 15 hours of darkness, expose your Christmas cactus to more hours of darkness. Now, when you start seeing that your Christmas cactus is starting to set flower buds, that is when you pull your Christmas cactus out of that 6 to 8 week dormancy phase, place it back to its normal growing location, and you resume the watering stage, as well as expose your Christmas cactus to as much of bright indirect sunlight as possible, and your Christmas cactus will continue to set more flower buds and will continue to grow for you. Again, if you want more detailed explanation about the dormancy phase, check out my other Christmas cactus video that is still available on my gardening channel. So tip number 8 is yearly pruning of our Christmas cactus plants. Now, if your Christmas cactus is on the smaller side, like I have one over here, you could see it's growing neat, it's manageable, no need to touch it, guys. However, if your Christmas cactus plant is older, it's bigger, and its leaf segments are wide, huge, unruly, just weird growing, it's absolutely fine. In fact, you should prune it yearly, once a year at least. So now, where do you prune it? You find the segment between 2 of the leaves. Here's an example of a segment. Here is another example of a segment. And you use clean scissors or pruning shears to cut the end tip off. So what do you do with these end tips that you just pruned off? Don't throw them out, guys. You can easily propagate beautiful Christmas cactus plant. How do you propagate it? You take the ends of the leaf segments which you just cut. You get a cup or a container. You pour little amount of water to the bottom. You do not want to fully submerge your leaf segments. You place them under water, and you place this cup in a bright indirect sun location, anywhere nearing the existing Christmas cactus plants, and you let them be. In about a week and a half to 2 weeks, if you pull out your segments, you're going to see new root growth on the bottom, and sometimes even between the leaf segment, as I have over here. So this is a newer segment that I just trimmed off my plant a few days ago. As you could see, there is no new root growth just yet. And this one is an older one. This one's about 2 weeks old, and it's ready to be planted in its own pot or container. Give it about a year, and you're going to have yet another beautiful Christmas cactus growing in your home. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, many have a hard time distinguishing between the various cacti varieties. We have our Thanksgiving cactus, Christmas cactus, holiday cactus, and of course, our Easter cactus. So as I promised you guys, I'm going to briefly go over the differences between each and how you can easily distinguish between the four. Thanksgiving cactus and Christmas cactus are actually from the same family variety. The only difference is the bloom time. So Thanksgiving cactus, as the name suggests, blooms somewhere around November, December months, versus the Christmas cactus, which blooms around the Christmas holiday. So sometime around the month of December and January. So now when it comes to their foliage or their leaf segments, they're very, very similar. They're oval in the shaping with these sharp edge cuts on the edges of the leaf segments. Here are the two next to each other. And as you could see for yourself, it is almost impossible to distinguish between the two, as their foliage or their leaf segments look identical in the sizing and the shape. Again, the only difference is one is done blooming by now, as it bloomed for me during the around Thanksgiving holiday, versus the Christmas cactus, which is in full bloom for me now in the month of December as we speak. And again, if you take proper care of it, it should continue blooming for you all the way through the month of January. So now, what is a holiday cactus? We just went over Thanksgiving cactus, Christmas cactus. What are holiday cacti? Holiday cactus is actually a broad term that is used to refer to both the Christmas cactus and the Thanksgiving cactus as well. So it's a general term, a broad term that is used when talking about both of these stunning beauties. Now that we spoke about Christmas cactus, Thanksgiving cactus, holiday cactus, let's talk about yet another stunner, which I have growing right over here in this black container, and that is our Easter cactus. They all might seem similar looking to the naked eye, but if you take a closer look, especially at the foliage, at the leaf segments, you will see very, very clear difference. So as I mentioned, Christmas cactus and Thanksgiving cactus both have identical looking foliage, which is oval in shape with these sharp thorn looking edges. This is a very clear example, and this is a Thanksgiving cactus. Here is a Christmas cactus, and you could see similar, if not identical looking foliage. Again, the only difference is that bloom during different months. Here is an Easter cactus. Take a look at the foliage, guys. It's also green in color. So the shape is also oval or round, depending on the leaf segment. However, the edges are nice and smooth. We do not see any of these almost torn or cut looking edges. So if you see a cactus sold at your local garden center or even a supermarket that has very nice, smooth, oval shaped foliage or the leaf segments, you can pretty much 99.9% say that this is an Easter cactus that is being sold. When they bloom, however, their blooms look almost identical. You could see over here are my Christmas cacti. They're in full bloom. When the Thanksgiving cactus blooms, has very similar blooms. The only difference is, of course, the coloring or the pigmentation of the blooms, depending on the variety. The same thing with the Easter cactus. So the blooms look identically stunning and identically gorgeous. Regardless of the type of the cactus that you're growing in your home, whether it's a Christmas cactus, a Thanksgiving cactus, or an Easter cactus, all three are epiphytic cacti, which means that they grow in forests in Central America. What is that tip number 9? The tip number 9 is keep an eye out for stress, disease, and insects or pests. So number 1 stress-causing factor to our Christmas cactus plant is overwatering. Cactus plants do not like to be overwatered, nor do they like to sit in that excess amount of water in that plate or saucer beneath them. So by not overwatering, you're already eliminating majority of the stress. When you're watering, water thoroughly. Let the excess water always drain out. So always make sure the container in which you're growing your Christmas cactus has plenty of drainage holes. Now, if there is a saucer or plate underneath your container, make sure you spill out any excess water that will accumulate in it. Let days and weeks go by between waterings. Always check your soil for moisture content to make sure that you're not over watering. Now, if you're seeing the leaf segments, the leaves of your Christmas cactus starting to shrivel up, look wrinkly, soft, droopy even, so that mushiness, droopiness is not due to underwatering. 99.9% is due to overwatering, hence root rot. Now, when it comes to disease, so again, most common disease is fungal disease that's associated with root rot. Again, going back to overwatering. So how are you going to see what kind of fungal disease can you see on your Christmas cactus plant? Very easy to see anywhere from the soil surface to the very tip edges of your leaf segment. You're going to see your leaves start to turn brown coloring. And the texture will go from being this tough, leathery texture to soft, mushy texture. That is the first indication of a fungal disease, again, due to overwatering. Now, what happens if you're starting to see your plant's leaves starting to turn reddish pigmentation, anywhere from light reddish to burgundy red pigmentation? That is associated with either too much bright direct sunlight. So how do you fix that? Relocate your Christmas cactus plant to a less sunny location. Don't eliminate sun altogether, just more indirect versus direct sunlight. Also, that could be a sign of underwatering. So if you're seeing that the foliage of your plant is no longer green, but more reddish in coloration, that means add more watering or water more frequently. Last but not least are pests. I have not seen any issues with pests other than some moisture or fungus gnats. What are those? Those are tiny, tiny, almost microscopic sized little flies. Again, you might see them around your cactus plant or trying to harbor in the soil of your cactus plant. Where do they come from? Why do they come? Overwatering. When fungus gnats sense too much moisture content, too much humidity, they just like to come and harbor around the plant. How do you get rid of them? Lessen the moisture level, lessen the humidity level, and those fungus gnats will disappear, I promise you. Now, this is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here on this beautiful late fall day. In today's video, I gave you 9 easy yet proven Christmas cactus care tips. If you follow these tips step by step throughout the entire year, I promise you that your Christmas cactus plants will not only grow, not only thrive, they will bloom for you multiple times a year so you can enjoy these beautiful, gorgeous blooms in your own home. For those of you who enjoy the content of today's video, if you found today's video to be useful, helpful, informative in any way, show me that support by clicking thumbs up below. Leave your comments in the comments section as well. Let me know, do you grow Christmas cactus in your home? If so, how do you take care of yours throughout the entire year? Do you put your Christmas cactus through dormancy phase? If so, let me know when and how do you share those beautiful pictures with me, guys. I love seeing pictures of your home gardens as well as pictures of your house plants. For those of you who haven't yet subscribed to my garden channel, Garden Cool Spring Garden, but don't wait any longer, guys. Do so today. Super easy for you, super pleasing and rewarding to me, knowing that you guys enjoy watching my videos and that you find the content of my videos to be helpful, useful, and informative for your own home gardens. Be healthy, guys. Happy, be well, each and every single one of you. And happy gardening, guys, and I'll see you again in my new upcoming garden videos. Bye, guys.